Let's take a look at some instances where F1 teams and drivers were caught cheating. During his time with Ferrari, Michael Schumacher faced a crucial situation in Monaco, with Fernando Alonso leading the championship by 1.5 race wins. Schumacher needed a victory at the Monaco Grand Prix to stay in contention. However, given the track's challenging nature for overtaking, securing pole position was essential for Ferrari. Despite setting the fastest time in Q3, Schumacher found himself in hot water when he deliberately parked his car on the track during the qualifying lap to hinder Fernando Alonso's lap time. This forced Alonso to abandon his qualifying lap, leading to controversy and Schumacher being denied pole position. This behavior consequently resulted in him being penalized, and he was compelled to start from the back of the grid. Despite this setback, Schumacher put in an impressive performance to finish 5th, while Alonso comfortably clinched victory en route to winning the championship. As if Ferrari wasn't already causing problems, here comes another one. During the 2010 German Grand Prix held at the Hockenheim circuit, Ferrari found themselves embroiled in controversy once again due to team orders. Felipe Massa, the Brazilian driver for Ferrari, was leading the race with his teammate Fernando Alonso closely trailing behind. As the race progressed, Ferrari strategists decided to implement team orders to switch the positions of the drivers, allowing Alonso to overtake Massa and take the lead. Now, you can be stupid, but you can't be Rob Smedley stupid. The pivotal moment came over the team radio when Rob Smedley, Felipe Massa's race engineer, famously transmitted the now infamous message,
"Fernando is faster than you." Can you confirm you understood that message?
This instruction was widely interpreted as a coded message for Massa to yield to Alonso. The incident immediately sparked outrage among fans, pundits, and within the Formula One community. It evoked memories of similar incidents in the past, notably the 2002 Austrian Grand Prix, where Rubens Barrichello was instructed to move aside for Michael Schumacher, leading to widespread condemnation. The use of team orders to manipulate race results goes against the spirit of fair competition in Formula One, where drivers are expected to race each other on merit rather than being subject to team directives. Ferrari's actions were seen as favoritism towards Alonso, fueling debates about the ethics of team orders in the sport. In response to the controversy, the FIA, that is the Federation Internationale d'Automobile, fined Ferrari $100,000 for breaching regulations that prohibited the use of team orders that interfere with the outcome of a race. Now, one of the most serious and rule-violating incidents happened during the 2008 Singapore Grand Prix, involving a driver named Nelson Piquet Jr. He was driving for the Renault team at the time. It was a chaotic moment because on the 14th lap of the race, Piquet mysteriously crashed his car. This led to a lot of confusion and commotion in the pit lane because when something like that happens, all the teams take advantage of it. They use that moment to make strategic decisions about their pit stops and try to gain an edge in the race. Interestingly, while other teams were pitting their cars during the chaos, Renault became a very clever choice. They decided to keep their driver Fernando Alonso out on the track without pitting. Alonso started the race from a pole position, 15th on the grid, but this decision put him in a really good position to win the race. Now, this would be considered smart until, well, it came out that Piquet's crash wasn't an accident at all. It was planned by the Renault team even before the race began. They wanted to manipulate the race by causing a safety car, period, which would benefit Alonso's chances of winning. This revelation shocked many people in the F1 world because it's against the rules to deliberately crash your car to affect the outcome of a race. Oh, Ferrari again. Michael Schumacher's famous for his intense competitiveness and was at the center of a controversy due to deliberate crashes during crucial championship battles. Well, I mean, he's like one of the best drivers, works for Ferrari, and then decides to cheat? That's low, man. One such incident occurred in 1994 when he collided with Damon Hill, his championship rival, and he wasn't satisfied with one incident. So my man went out and caused another incident in 1997 when he intentionally crashed into Jacques Villeneuve. These actions raised serious questions about fair play in Formula Formula 1, and if this is how you get competitive, then I must start crashing into people as well. In 1994 Formula 1 season, Benetton found themselves in the middle of a scandal for using prohibited driver aids. Despite strict regulations from the FIA, these aids included traction control, which was banned at the time. Despite the ban, Benetton was suspected of using these aids to gain an advantage on the track. Their controversial tactics extended beyond just using banned aids. For instance, during pit stops, they removed a filter from the fuel filler hose to allow for faster refueling. This risk maneuver resulted in dangerous incidents such as Jos Verstappen's pit lane fire at the German Grand Prix. The fire occurred due to nearly 6 liters of highly flammable racing fuel splashing onto him and his car during a routine pit stop. Despite widespread suspicions and even disqualifications from races, Benetton faced no serious consequences for their actions. This lack of accountability raised concerns about the effectiveness of enforcement and the integrity of the sport. In 1959, Formula 1 witnessed a cheating attempt by Harry Schell during the qualifying session. Schell, known for his determined approach to racing, made a daring move by taking a shortcut on the track to gain an advantage over his competitors. By cutting corners and deviating from the designated racing line, Schell aimed to reduce his lap time significantly, thus improving his position on the starting grid for the race. Why would he do that? I mean, in 1959, technology was less, and people might have been less attentive, but not to the extent Schell took them to be. However, race officials quickly detected Schell's unsportsmanlike conduct and penalized him for his actions. His lap time was invalidated, and he faced disciplinary action for violating the rules of fair play in motorsport. Moving on, during the 1975 Swedish Grand Prix in Formula 1, an audacious cheating attempt unfolded, orchestrated by Vittorio Brambilla. In a stroke of ingenuity, Brambilla's engineers stumbled upon an accidental discovery. Waving a pit board in front of the timing equipment triggered it, but Brambilla wasn't content with leaving it at that. Oh no, he saw opportunity where others saw coincidence. With the cunning of a mastermind, Brambilla seized upon this loophole and devised a plan so daring it bordered on brilliant. Although I'd consider this a smart move by the driver, this unconventional tactic allowed Brambilla to secure pole position through deceptive means, which, well, is basically cheating. Next, in 1977, Hans Heyer pulls off a stunt at the German Grand Prix that no one has ever been able to pull ever since. After being told he wasn't fast enough to qualify for the big race, he decided he wasn't going to take no for an answer. So he put on his best teary eyes, sweet-talked an official, and somehow convinced them to let him sneak his car onto the track. Now, all the legit drivers lined up, engines revving, and then there's Hans, sliding into the mix like he's pulling off a heist. Sure, it wasn't exactly by the rulebook, but hey, you've got to give the guy points for creativity. As the race kicked off, there was Hans, weaving through the pack. The other drivers probably did a double take when they saw him zooming past, wondering if they'd missed something in the rulebook. In the end, Hans might not have won the race. Spoiler alert, he didn't. To this day, he remains the only driver to have experienced the rare combination of failing to qualify, not finishing, and ultimately being disqualified from the same race. Now, in 1982, both the Brabham and Williams teams made a significant innovation by introducing water-cooled brakes in their cars. This innovation aimed to exploit the weight regulations by using water as a cooling agent, allowing the teams to achieve better performance on the track. However, their clever tactic was short-lived, as it soon caught the attention of their competitors. Following a protest, the officials scrutinized the matter and ultimately disqualified both teams from the race. In my opinion, this technique was innovative, and the teams shouldn't have been penalized in this way, as F1 is all about innovation. They got disqualified because other teams didn't have this technology, but anyway, it was cheating at that time. Just 2 years later, in 1984, Tyrrell's disqualification from the championship originated from their illicit manipulation of their car's weight through the use of illegal fuel additives. The team had resorted to secretly altering the composition of their fuel, aiming to lower their car's overall weight and potentially gain a competitive edge on the track. Their scheme involved the addition of unauthorized substances to their fuel supply, which violated the established regulations governing F1 racing. racing. By exploiting this loophole, Tyrrell sought to optimize their car's performance during races, particularly in terms of speed and handling. However, their actions did not go unnoticed, as officials soon uncovered evidence of the unauthorized modifications during routine inspections. The discovery led to immediate repercussions for Tyrrell, including disqualification from the championship and tarnishing their reputation within the racing community. Cheating doesn't end even in recent times, and this was one not even the people back in the 1900s would dare to do. In 2005, the BAR, that's the British American racing team, found themselves at the center of a gripping scandal. Hidden within the sleek chassis of their car lurked a secret fuel tank. Unbeknownst to race officials and rivals alike, this contraption violated the strict regulations governing F1 and sparked outrage and disbelief across the paddock. When the truth came to light, the consequences were swift and severe. The BAR team faced disqualification from the race in question, dealing a heavy blow to their ambitions on the track. But that wasn't all. Race officials imposed the 2-race ban as well, which in my opinion was deserved. I don't know how people think they can get away in a world where technology advances every day. Imagine a real-life spy thriller, but instead of secret agents, it's F1 teams. That's exactly what happened during the 2007 season in what became known as Spygate. So McLaren, one of the top teams in F1, was accused of getting their hands on super secret documents from their rivals Ferrari. These documents contained all sorts of details about Ferrari's car designs and performance secrets. Turns out a guy named Mike Coughlin, who worked for McLaren, somehow got his mitts on these top secret files. How? Well, it's a bit murky, but it involves a disgruntled Ferrari employee named Nigel Stepney. When Ferrari found out about this business, they weren't too pleased, and they filed a complaint with the FIA. After a lot of snooping around, the FIA uncovered the truth. McLaren was found guilty of possessing the documents. So what happened next? McLaren got slapped with a whopping $100 million fine, and to add salt to the wound, they were stripped of all their points in the championship that year. Fast forward to 2018, and the drama in F1 took another turn when Ferrari was accused of pulling a fast one. Weird how Ferrari has been involved in most of these instances. They were suspected of playing with their fuel flow sensors. These sensors keep an eye on how much fuel is going into the engine to make sure nobody gets an unfair advantage. But Ferrari thought they could outsmart the system. They allegedly tweaked their fuel flow sensors to give them a boost. Red Bull wasn't having it. They put on their detective hats and went to work. They reverse engineered Ferrari systems, and once they had the evidence, Red Bull did what any good sports team would do. They went straight to the FIA and presented all their findings to them. The FIA didn't take too kindly to Ferrari's shenanigans. They cracked down on the Italian team, making them lose their mojo in the races that followed. In a more recent turn of events, Racing Point came under intense scrutiny for allegedly mimicking the design of Mercedes' championship-winning car from the year 2019. I mean, seriously, you can't just go out there and copy a whole-ass design from another car. The accusations against Racing Point sparked widespread debate within the racing community, as replicating another team's design raised ethical concerns and threatened the integrity of the sport. Such actions not only undetermined the spirit of competition, but also called into question the credibility of Racing Point as a competitive entity in Formula 1. As a result of all these allegations, Racing Point faced significant consequences, including fines and penalties imposed by the governing authorities. And there you have it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to drop a comment below sharing which cheating scandal you think was the worst.